the birth. That was completely fabricated. We all know the first interview was because, remember, for 10 years in Meghan's life, from the age of 5 to 18, more than 10 years.
There is a theory that's been out there for a while. It's been floating around. Royal fans are convinced Meghan Markle is lying about her age. In fact, they think she's older. And not a surprise here because, yeah, she lies a lot about her.
So this week, oh my gosh, the entire internet went into absolute meltdown. Why? Because royal biographer Tom Bower just dropped something so wild, so unbelievable, that even Meghan's most loyal fans had to stop and blink twice. And no, it's not another PR stunt, not another fake smile moment, not even another crying without tears scene. This time, it's about something far more personal: Meghan Markle's real age. Yes, you heard that right. The woman who's been under the world spotlight for years might not be the age we think she is.
Her own sister has come forward, her family, everybody is exposing the lies that she's been telling. And it would only make sense that she might lie about this. It wouldn't be such a big...
Picture this for a second. It's 1997. The world is different. Teen girls are glued to glossy magazines, and 17 magazine is basically their holy book. Every month, it's packed with makeup tips, celebrity crushes, and rising stars. But tucked inside one of those shiny pages is a tiny, blink-and-you-miss-it list of feature on fresh faces and upcoming young women. And there it is, Meghan Markle, age 21. At first, it seems harmless. Cute, even. But wait, Meghan was supposedly born in 1981, right? Do the math. In 1997, she should have been 15, not 21. So how does a teenager suddenly jump 6 years overnight? Something's off. Really off.
That was untrue. She then admits that it was untrue. But her lawyer says Meghan didn't lie. Well, extraordinary how the whole thing is unraveling.
And yet they don't...
When Bower brought this up, the internet detectives went into full crime scene mode. Reddit threads exploded. Old high school yearbooks got dragged out of storage. Fans started matching photos, hairstyles, and even background details from her interviews. And here's the weird part. In those early interviews, Meghan always seemed to sidestep questions about her exact age. She'd talk about her journey, her growth, her passion for storytelling, but never the numbers, almost like she was building a carefully edited version of herself long before Hollywood even noticed her.
Compiled a slideshow. Let's actually get to the truth of this issue, and it's a surprise. Here we go. So, if you go over on Google, is she lying about her age? Currently.
And here's where things start getting shady. Because 17 magazine, they've never corrected that article. Not once. No editor's note, no retraction, no oops, typo, nothing. And Meghan's team? Radio silence. It's as if the whole thing was quietly swept under the rug, hoping no one would dig it up again. But then, boom, Tom Bower did. And thanks to him, that old magazine listing is now viral all over again, reigniting a firestorm nobody saw coming.
None at all.
Of the claims that they have made against the royal family. For example, William being a bully. For example, this idea that the royal...
What makes it juicier is that specific age 21 line. It wasn't some random mistake. It looked deliberate, printed, typeset, published. That's not a typo, that's intent. So what is it? A careless editor, or the very first glimpse of Meghan Markle rewriting her own timeline long before she had royal titles or Netflix deals? That's the million-dollar question.
Well, she'd be 42 today. But is this true? There is a rumor she's actually older, so let's examine what's out there. This is a copy of 7...
Now, here's where things twist again, because Meghan's own father, Thomas Markle, has been hinting at something like this for years. He's been quietly saying some parts of Meghan's story just don't add up. And now those old comments hit completely different.
It's the evidence.
It's always they. They never name them, except...
While the rest of the Meghan stories enact them, the world sees a polished, elegant duchess with carefully styled curls and a picture-perfect smile. Thomas remembers something else entirely, a scrappy, ambitious little girl running lines on set with her dad, dreaming about Hollywood before she even finished high school. To him, that's the real Meghan, the one before the filters, the PR gloss, and the palace press team.
1997. In it, it mentions our Megzy is from Los Angeles and that she was 21 years old at the time of publication. That would make her birth year.
In interviews, Thomas Markle has shared tons of memories. School years, first jobs, early acting gigs. But when you compare what he says to Meghan's official timeline, nothing quite matches. The graduation dates, the first auditions, even when she supposedly started acting all fuzzy. It's like two different versions of the same person are telling completely different life stories. And honestly, that's eerie. Thomas isn't some bitter dad throwing shade. He sounds genuinely puzzled. He once said, "I remember her starting out much earlier than people say she did. Just one line, but it sent shockwaves across fan forums and tabloids." Because if a father's memory of his own daughter's milestones doesn't match her public narrative, what's really going on? It's unsettling, isn't it? A father doesn't forget when his little girl graduated or started her first job. Those memories stick forever. If Thomas's recollection is accurate, then Meghan has been editing her own life story for far longer than anyone realized. Maybe not maliciously, maybe to fit an image. But still, when your dad's timeline doesn't match your own, something smells suspiciously off. And Tom Bower, he wasn't about to let that slide. This is the same man who's built his career uncovering royal secrets. So when he noticed the 17 magazine listing and heard Thomas's remarks, he started connecting dots like a detective. He dug deep, tracing every shred of evidence to explain that mysterious 6-year age gap. And what he found changes everything. Because according to his research, every milestone, every date Meghan ever shared publicly starts to blur under scrutiny. Graduation dates don't line up. Acting timelines contradict interviews. Even official royal bios seem too neat, too perfect, like someone combed through them with a fine-tooth PR brush, smoothing out the inconvenient wrinkles. And when you think about it, it makes sense. In Hollywood, youth is currency. An actress's age can make or break her career. So if Meghan really was older than the world believed, it reframes her entire story not as a fresh young starlet rising overnight, but as a woman strategically crafting a new version of herself to survive an industry obsessed with perfection. Once Tom Bower connected the dots, the 17 magazine feature, the family comments, the public records, he realized he wasn't staring at some minor detail. He was staring at a crack in Meghan Markle's entire public image. The question wasn't just how old is Meghan really anymore. It was, how long has this version of Meghan been carefully built, edited, and maintained? And trust me, Bower didn't hold back. He started piecing together interviews, school records, and old footage. Everywhere he looked, the same pattern appeared: small, subtle inconsistencies that on their own meant nothing but together. They painted a picture of a woman who may have rewritten her own timeline. He pointed out how her early interviews about landing suits didn't quite match up with her supposed graduation year from Northwestern. The roles she described as her first breaks seemed to come years after she should have been out of school, unless, of course, she was older than everyone thought. And the most shocking part? Even royal biographers quietly admitted that her official royal profile seemed too streamlined, as if every line had been polished to perfection. No room for doubt, no messy in-between. Just the perfect narrative. From actress to duchess. And then came the Hollywood angle, the one that made everyone gasp. Bower highlighted that in an industry built on youth, being even a few years older can totally reshape your opportunities. If Meghan really was born around 1975 or 1976 instead of 1981, that changes everything. Think about it. If she was actually in her late 22nd, not early 22nd when she first started auditioning, it explains the struggle she always mentioned, the endless rejections, the long gap before success. Hollywood doesn't hand leading roles to women past a certain marketable age. So maybe, just maybe, shaving off a few years wasn't deception, it was survival. Still, it raises a bigger question. How much of the Meghan we know is authentic and how much is curated? Bower's findings made one thing clear. The inconsistencies weren't random. They were deliberate, layered, and eerily consistent. Her interviews, her timelines, even her royal biography all synced perfectly to the same age narrative, as if edited by one guiding hand. Now, before you roll your eyes and think, so what, it's just age? No. In Hollywood, age is everything. It's the invisible line that determines who gets cast as the ingenue and who gets cast as the mother. And for Meghan, who built her image as a strong, modern young woman breaking barriers, that number mattered a lot. Thomas Markle's remarks start to hit harder now, don't they? When he said, "I remember her starting earlier than people say," it wasn't idle nostalgia. It was a father noticing something wrong in the official story. To him, she was older when she began acting, not fresh out of school. Not 21, not 25, older, wiser, more experienced. That changes the entire arc of her rise. Fans began revisiting old interviews, comparing footage, examining her expressions, even noting how Meghan carefully phrased things. Never a lie outright, just strategic omissions, like someone always aware of what not to say. And honestly, who can blame her? The pressure to appear perfect, to stay young and bankable is insane. But when your own father's timeline doesn't match your public image, that's not just Hollywood strategy, that's a rewritten identity. Imagine being Thomas Markle. You watch your daughter grow up, work hard, chase dreams. Then years later, you see a version of her life that feels foreign. Different dates, different milestones. Like reading a biography about your own family and realizing half of it's been rewritten. That's gotta hurt. Tom Bower, being Tom Bower, didn't let emotion cloud the facts. He cross-referenced every public document he could find: birth records, interviews, early casting sheets, even the California Birth Index. And sure, the official documents say the 4th of August 1981, but then again, if Hollywood is known for anything, it's its ability to fix narratives. So the question isn't what's printed, it's what's true. And get this, Meghan's half-sister Samantha Markle even wrote in her book The Diary of Princess Pushy's Sister that there were inconsistencies about Meghan's timeline. Even if she confirmed 1,981 inches legal documents, that didn't stop people from digging further, because too many puzzle pieces just didn't fit neatly. The deeper Bower dug, the messier it got. Everywhere he looked, there were contradictions. School records that seemed off, early press photos dated weirdly, interviews that didn't line up with public records. He described it like trying to piece together two overlapping lives. One, the public fairy tale, polished, glamorous, symmetrical. The other, the raw, complicated truth full of gaps, missing years, and quiet edits. And that's when the internet exploded again. 2 timelines, 2 Meghans. Version 1. The official Meghan, born in 1981, young, radiant, perfectly aged for the royal love story. Version 2. The Meghan Bend. 1997 magazine Meghan, listed at 21, suggesting a birth year closer to 1975 or 1976. If true, that makes her nearly 50 today, not 44. And suddenly, everything from her college years to her Hollywood breakout to her royal debut shifts dramatically. It's not just about the number anymore. It's about what that number represents: control. Control over perception, image, and narrative. Because when you think about it, Meghan's story has always been about reinvention. From TV actress to humanitarian, from Hollywood outsider to royal insider. Every version of Meghan has been meticulously built, and this, perhaps, was the very first layer of that construction. By the time Bauer finished piecing everything together, one thing became undeniable. This wasn't just gossip. This was a full-blown narrative crisis. What started as a harmless magazine clipping had now spiraled into a debate about authenticity and image manipulation. Hollywood insiders whispered that adjusting your age isn't uncommon. But when the adjustment follows you into the royal palace, into official records, global platforms, Netflix documentaries, that's when it stops being PR and starts becoming deception. And now, years later, that question still hangs in the air unanswered, echoing louder than ever. Was it an innocent magazine error, or the first deliberate rewrite of a life story built to perfection? Neither the palace nor Meghan's PR team has ever dared to comment, not one word. And that silence, it's deafening, because in the world of royalty and fame, silence is strategy. Tom Bauer's discovery didn't just spark curiosity, it cracked open a secret Meghan never wanted revisited. Every timeline, every milestone, every photo now carries a hint of doubt. Her real age may never be confirmed, but one thing's certain: the Meghan Markle we think we know might just be a carefully edited version of someone far older, wiser, and infinitely more complicated than we ever imagined. The mystery of Meghan's age isn't fading, it's just beginning.